Italy's World Cup win in 2006 is remembered for defensive discipline, unnerving penalties and insults about sisters, but while it was a fantastic achievement, it perhaps wasn't the vintage Italian side of old. Let's have a look at where the World Cup winning Italian side is now. Gianluigi Buffon. When Gianluigi Buffon lifted the World Cup in 2006, he probably didn't think he'd have to wait until he was nearly 40 to win a Champions League. Or maybe he did, because Juventus were relegated that summer. At the age of 39, Buffon is preparing for a Champions League final against Real Madrid next month and is on the cusp of his 6th Serie A title in a row. Oh, and he's won 3 consecutive Coppa Italias as well. He's one of only 18 players to have made at least 1,000 professional career appearances. He's the most capped Italian of all time with 168 and is the most capped European international player ever. And apparently Jordan Pickford is going to cost more than him this summer. Gianluca Zambrotta. While there were many who stuck around at Juventus following their demotion due to the Calciopoli scandal in 2006, Gianluca Zambrotta was not one of them. The flying fullback, who was selected in the team of the tournament, signed for Barcelona, although surprisingly he barely won anything there. He had more luck at AC Milan, winning Serie A in 2011 after joining them in 2008. He retired in Switzerland with FC Chiasso and is the current manager of Delhi Dynamos, where he manages Florin Malouda, the man he was marking in that World Cup final. Wonder if he ever lets him hold his medal. Fabio Cannavaro. Fabio Cannavaro is the second last player to win the Ballon d'Or, after Ronaldo and Messi of course. The 2006 FIFA World Player of the Year was a man mountain for Italy at that World Cup, despite his diminutive stature. He was snapped up by Real Madrid in 2006, where he won a La Liga title before returning to Juventus in 2009. He finished his career with Al Ahly, spending a year there after the 2010 World Cup. He's the current manager of Tianjin Quanyin in China. Yeah, that team that keeps pestering Diego Costa, and last October guided them to the China League 1 title. Marco Materazzi. Marco Materazzi might have scored in the World Cup final, but let's be honest, there's one thing he'll be remembered for, and that's having his chest caved in by Zinedine Zidane's head. Believe it or not, he did live to collect his winner's medal, and won 5 consecutive league titles at Inter Milan in what was one of the most boring eras in Serie A history. He was also part of the historic treble-winning season and retired in 2011. In 2014, he was signed as player manager of Chennai FC of the Indian Super League, where he remained for 2 years. Fabio Grosso. The man who pierced German hearts in the semi-final, Fabio Grosso was a breakthrough star at the 2006 World Cup and earned himself a move to Inter Milan that summer. It was just a shame he couldn't prove himself to be more than a one-summer wonder and was flogged to Lyon the following summer. He fared better in France, winning the title, although it wasn't hard considering the source, before signing with Juventus in 2009. Upon retiring in 2012, he would later take up a role as coach of the under-20 side. Mauro Camoranesi. Despite vultures circling the relegated Juventus in 2006, Mauro Camoranesi was one who snubbed the advances of Valencia and Liverpool to remain at the club. He helped the old lady back into the top flight and stayed with them until 2010 when he left for Stuttgart. He ended his career in the country of his birth, Argentina's Primera Division. Andrea Pirlo. They say Andrea Pirlo is like wine, in that he gets better with age. Perhaps that's not completely true, as he is playing in a league where Bradley Wright Phillips is one of the best players. However, he has had a fine career, sticking a couple of fingers up at AC Milan when they carelessly and inexplicably allowed him to leave the San Siro on a free transfer in 2011. The 2-time Champions League winner subsequently went and won 4 back-to-back league titles at the Stadio dell'Alpi, while his former employers floundered somewhere amongst the also-rans, currently at New York City FC. Gennaro Gattuso. It's been a bad month for Gennaro Gattuso. He has just been relegated from Serie B as manager of Pisa, despite having the best defensive record in the league. After hanging up his boots in 2013, after finishing his career in Switzerland after 13 years with AC Milan, he coached FC Sion, Palermo and OFI Crete before being appointed Pisa manager in August 2015, where he led the club to promotion last season. Simone Porrotta. There must be something in the water in Rome. Nobody ever seems to want to leave. Then I suppose why would you want to? It's hardly the back alleys of Stoke-on-Trent. After signing for Roma in 2004, Simone Porrotta went on to spend 9 seasons at the club, making over 300 appearances for them, before hanging up his boots in 2013. The Italian midfielder was born in England and spent the first 5 years of his life in the country, so naturally a statue was erected in Manchester, commemorating him as one of 3 men from the borough of Tameside after Jeff Hurst and Jimmy Armfield for holding a World Cup medal. I'm not even joking. Francesco Totti. When Francesco Totti retires, which will be any day now, he might as well just move into the Vatican because he is worshipped in Rome. After making his debut in 1992, before many of his teammates were even born, he has gone on to play almost 800 times for the club, spurning the interest from the likes of Real Madrid along the way. Surprisingly, for a man who has waited until he turned 40 to retire, he hung up his boots at international level quite prematurely. The World Cup final was his last ever game for Italy, despite several attempts to coax him out of retirement. Not a bad way to go out. Luca Toni. I hope Luca Toni enjoyed packing because he ended up having to move clubs 16 times over the course of his career. A journeyman footballer, there was a brief period during the mid-2000s where he was one of Europe's deadliest finishers. A lethal goal scorer for Fiorentina, he moved to Bayern Munich a year after the World Cup, where he bagged 39 goals inside his first season at the Allianz Arena. He would have further but less successful stints at Roma, Geneva, Juventus, Al Nassr and Fiorentina again, before exploding back into life at the age of 36, bagging 51 goals in 100 games for Verona. Winning the Serie A top scorer award at the age of 37 after years of doing nothing. All I'll say is, Fernando, there's hope for you yet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.